me, officer!
We still remember when the cop thriller series Blue Bloods first aired. It feels like only yesterday. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been 10 years since we first laid eyes on this very awesome, action-packed show. There's always that bittersweet moment when your favorite show comes to an end. For one, you're sad that you're no longer going to have that set day of the week for a new episode to come out. But also, you know when a show has over 10 seasons, they will most likely wrap it up sooner or later, as character development for over a decade can be tough to continue. This is the case with Blue Bloods. However, not all of the cast members are on board, especially Tom Selleck, and he hasn't exactly been quiet about it either. In today's video, we're going to touch on season 12's announcement, or lack thereof, and the cast members' opinions on the show potentially not being renewed for another season. What's the series all about? First of all, let's cover what the show is about for anyone here that is new or has never seen an episode of this, in my opinion, great TV show. Blue Bloods first aired on CBS in September of 2010, featuring actors like Tom Selleck, Donnie Wahlberg, Bridget Moynahan, Will Estes, Len Caro, Marissa Ramirez, Vanessa Ray, and Sammy Gale, with Whoopi Goldberg, Will Hotchman, Abigail Hawke, Eric B., Gregory Harborough, Robert Closey, Andrew Terracino, Stephen Chirpa, and Lauren Patton in reoccurring roles. We know that was a lot of cast members to mention, but they are all very important characters and also well-known actors and actresses, so how could we not? Tom Selleck is the main character who plays patriarch Frank Reagan, but goes by Frank throughout the show. He plays a New York police commissioner who runs his department in a diplomatic manner, similar to how he runs his own family. The whole show revolves around the Reagan family, a multi-generational family of the NYPD, all of whom are strongly dedicated to law enforcement. Frank's father, Henry, played by Caro, served as a chief of police. His eldest son, Danny, played by Wahlberg, is a detective and seasoned vet. Frank's daughter, Erin, played by Bridget Moynahan, is the district attorney, and Frank's youngest, Jamie, played by Will Estes, is a Harvard law graduate turned NYPD sergeant. Tragically, Frank's son, Joe, was murdered by a crooked cop while on the job. You can see just how dedicated his entire family is to law enforcement and the justice system, and just how Joe's death most likely played a significant role in their career choice. The series follows the Reagan family along in their day-to-day activities as members of law enforcement. There's many plot twists and turns along the way, but we don't want to give too much info away for those of you who have yet to binge all 11 seasons. What happened in season 11? Let's refresh your memory and take a look back at what happened in season 11 of Blue Bloods so far. In the first episode, Frank and the city councilor speak, otherwise known as Regina Thomas, Whoopi Goldberg, argue and disagree over the recent protests that have been happening against police brutality. In the meantime, Danny and Baze up and vanish while trying to catch a dangerous killer. Eddie helps a young woman whose father has been misidentified among a group of global health situation victims. This meeting inspires her to attend her father's parole hearing. In episode 2, Danny and Baze work alongside Jamie in order to convict a notorious drug lord. Unfortunately, a witness that was set to testify against this drug lord was mysteriously killed, most likely to be silenced. Danny is convinced that the defense attorney leaked the witness's name, leading to the witness's ultimate demise. Meanwhile, Erin is eagerly awaiting the governor's choice for the new DA. While Joe Hill is off duty, he intervenes in a possible kidnapping, making him an instant hero to many. Episode 3 reveals that Joe Hill is actually related to the Reagan family, and this comes as a surprise to everyone, and Joe doesn't take it too well, getting in fights at work. Danny's visited by a young woman who shows him a video of his grandfather being pushed down a flight of stairs. Before coming to Danny, she spoke with Jamie. However, Jamie brushes it off, claiming the young woman was crazy and didn't know what she was talking about. It turns out the young woman's brother killed his grandfather as part of a gang initiation. In episode 4, we see Officer Ray Flores consumed with guilt over his partner being shot by a robbery suspect. Flores later admits to Jamie that he wants to kill the suspect, and soon after, the suspect is found shot in the head, making Flores the first guy they look into. However, Jamie is convinced Flores would never act on this claim. On the other hand, Erin faces an internal drama when a man who's been convicted of homicide in a drunk driving accident displays a very heroic act. Protecting children while out on bail, she's conflicted arrested and tries to get him a lighter sentence. Meanwhile, Frank is unsure of what to do when one of his detectives wants to continue working despite being bound to a wheelchair after being injured on the job. And finally, episode 5. In this episode, Danny and Rachel are praised for their bravery while stopping an active shooter until someone comes forward accusing them of faking the incident as part of a government conspiracy. While this is all going on, Frank is delving into a decade of cash payments his father Henry had been making to an unknown source. Finally, Danny and Bays are investigating a man's murder when they come across his two sons accusing each other of the horrible crime. No, there aren't only 5 episodes in the season. Season 11 is actually still airing currently. Due to the global health situation, the schedule has become slightly irregular, but we are intrigued to see what happens next and how they're going to wrap up this season, as it could be potentially their last. Tom Selleck speaks out about season 12. Tom Selleck, who plays Frank Regan, is a very vocal person who's wanting the show to be renewed for season 12. When asked about it back in October 2020 by reporters, he expressed they needed for a season 11 and 12 to explain the ending of season 10 and give fans what they want. As we already know, the show was renewed for an 11th season. However, many believe that this could be the last. When asked, Tom Selleck shared that he feels that there's still a lot left for the show to offer. However, not because the storyline demands it, but because the fans and viewers deserve to see more. Selleck was quoted as saying, "Well, I'm negotiating with CBS about next season. I'd like them to order 2 seasons. We can do much better shows if we know where we're going. This show has lasted because the characters have been allowed to grow and change. But unfortunately, the show has, for the time being, only been renewed for the 11th season." As we mentioned earlier, this interview took place before season 11 was announced, but as you can see, Selleck is very eager for the show to return once again for a 12th season in order to wrap up everything with the characters and their backstories. In May of 2020, CBS announced that Blue Bloods would be returning for one final season, season 11, but Selleck and many of his co-stars believe that the show still has, quote, "a lot of life" as the characters continue to change and evolve. However, as of January 27th, 2021, very recently, Blue Bloods has been uncanceled but not renewed. The show is pretty much in limbo, and hopefully soon they will get eager fans to know the verdict. However, this backtrack is a positive sign for many, as they wouldn't have uncanceled the show for nothing. Seems like Selleck may be getting that 12th season after all. Before the news had even been dropped that there would be an 11th season, Donnie Wahlberg spoiled the news by replying to a fan comment simply by saying yes, when asked if the drama series would be renewed for another season. Season 11 ratings. We wanted to take a look at the season 11 ratings so far, just out of curiosity, since Tom Selleck seems very adamant about the fans needing more seasons and implying that there is a very devoted and large fan base for the series. Currently, the show averages around 0.53 in ratings out of 10. The general demographic who consumes the series is between 18 and 49, with around 6.5 million views. Although that does sound like a lot, and it is, compared to season 10, they're down 18% in demographics and 15% in viewers. Keep in mind, season 11 has not finished airing yet. We're only into episode 5. Another factor that may have affected the viewer count could be the global health situation, which drastically changed TV and film sets and added many limitations when it came to working. Just like everyone else in the US, strict quarantine lasted for months, ultimately halting filming for a good couple of months. Because of this, many popular TV series that were set to air new seasons had to push dates back or even completely stop filming in the middle of a season, which in turn led to an early finale for various shows. In hindsight, this is probably beneficial for the Blue Blood series, as it forces CBS to renew the show for an 11th season in order to expand the unexpected ending of season 10. It's going to be very interesting to see if the public and cast members' pressure will end up putting CBS into renewing it for a 12th season. It already appears as though it's going to force them to uncancel the show for any further seasons. We're very intrigued to see what happens in the finale of season 11 and if viewers will be left with a cliffhanger, purposely set to lead into a new season, or will they put out all the stocks and end the entire show in the finale, wrapping up any and all loose ends. Regardless though, Blue Bloods is a great series and has been entertaining millions for a decade now. It's going to be kind of a sad moment for many, especially Tom Selleck, when the show is no longer on the air. So that's going to be it for today's video, but if you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that way you will never miss any more Blue Blood updates and whether CBS will be renewing the show for season 12.